Okay, let's talk about a stock that has been on an absolute tear this year. We're talking about Nebius Group, ticker NBIS. It's up nearly 400%, and it's all thanks to a massive $17 billion bet from Microsoft. With a huge earnings report right on the horizon, the big question is this AI powerhouse just getting started?
Hey everyone, and welcome to ValueVest Daily, your spot for analyzing the best value and momentum investment opportunities out there. All right, let's just let this number sink in for a second. A 390% gain just this year. Now, a jump like that doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? There's always a powerful reason, a major catalyst behind it. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. So, what lit the fuse on this rocket ship? Well, it all comes down to a single game-changing deal that put Nebius on the map for every serious investor.
Yup, you are seeing that right. A $17.4 billion five-year deal to supply Microsoft with critical GPU compute power. I mean, think about that. This is way more than just a big sale. It's a gigantic stamp of approval from one of the biggest tech companies on the planet. So what exactly is it that Nebius does to land a deal of this magnitude? All right, let's pull back the curtain. Let's look at the engine that's driving this incredible story. See, Nebius isn't your average cloud company, not by a long shot. The key phrase here is vertically integrated. And what that really means is they control the whole shebang from top to bottom. They build and run their own data centers, they provide the specialized GPU cloud services that are the lifeblood of AI, and they even develop their own custom software and hardware to make everything run perfectly. And that is their secret sauce. It's their competitive moat. When you control every single piece of the puzzle, from the physical building to the lines of code, you can just do things better, faster, and more efficiently than anyone else. And you can bet that end-to-end control is a huge reason why a giant like Microsoft came knocking. I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. You know, in this massive AI gold rush, lots of companies are making money selling the pickaxes, the compute power. But Nebius is playing a totally different game. They own the entire mine, they design their own superior pickaxes, and now they've locked in a contract to sell them to the biggest gold prospector on Earth. That is an incredibly powerful place to be. Okay, so the business model is brilliant, but is it actually translating to the bottom line? Let's take a look at the numbers. Wow, just look at that number from their last report. A 625% increase in revenue year over year. They literally doubled their revenue from the quarter before. Folks, that's not just growth. That's what we call hypergrowth. And management is clearly signaling that this is just the beginning. They recently raised their guidance for annual recurring revenue, or ARR, to a whopping $1.1 billion for the year. They see the tidal wave of demand coming, and they're scaling up to meet it. So let's put it all together. You've got that insane 625% revenue jump, and the raised guidance. But here's the kicker for me. Their core business is already profitable on an adjusted basis, way ahead of schedule. And looking forward, analysts are projecting a 50% growth rate every single year through 2030. That is just a phenomenal growth story. So, what's next? Well, you might want to circle this date on your calendar. The Q3 earnings report is dropping before the market opens on November 11th. This is the next big moment for the stock, and all eyes are going to be on their revenue and how that Microsoft deal is ramping up. Okay, the fundamental story is obviously incredible. But what's the chart telling us right now? Let's switch gears and take a quick look at the technicals. At a high level, the stock seems to be catching its breath. It's basically trading in a range right now. You've got a ceiling or resistance up around $115 and a floor or support down near 102. The RSI, a momentum indicator, is sitting right at 50, which is totally neutral. It really feels like the stock is coiling up, building energy for its next big move. So that's the chart, but what about Wall Street? Where is the big money placing its bets? Let's see what the institutions and analysts think. First off, check this out. About 22% of the company is owned by big institutions. We're talking hedge funds, mutual funds, that kind of thing. That's a really solid number. It tells you that the smart money has done their homework and they believe in the long-term story here. And they're not just holding on. They are actively buying more. In the last year alone, nearly 300 institutions have jumped in, pouring over $1.5 billion into the stock. You're seeing well-known firms like Janney Montgomery Scott and Alger Funds adding to their positions. That's a huge vote of confidence.
And how about the analysts? Well, their short-term price target is hovering around $133, which implies some pretty nice upside from here. But the long-term view, that's where it gets really compelling. Some are making the case for $200 a share or even higher in the next 3 years as that Microsoft deal fully kicks in.
Okay, but let's be smart about this. No investment is a sure thing, and we have to talk about the risks. First, that valuation is sky high. If they miss earnings expectations, even by a little, a stock priced for perfection could get hit hard. Second, there's execution risk. Building out data centers at this scale is a massive undertaking. And finally, you've got fierce competition from giants like Amazon and aggressive newcomers like CoreWeave. You have to be ready for a volatile ride.
So it all comes back to this one question. You've got an explosive business model, a monster deal locked in with Microsoft, and a major catalyst just days away. With all that on the table, is Nebius Group poised for its next massive leg up? Now, a quick and very important reminder. Everything we've discussed here is for informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Please be sure to do your own research before making any investment decisions. If you found this analysis helpful, it would mean the world to us if you'd hit that subscribe button, give this a like, and share ValueVest Daily. It helps us keep finding these opportunities for you.
And hey, one more thing. If there's a specific stock you want us to do a deep dive on, just drop the ticker symbol in the comments below. We read all of them. Thanks so much for watching.